Greetings and Happy New Year to all. This is the first message I've had in the new year. And I want to give you a scripture today that I hope carries you throughout the whole year. Psalm 65:11 says, "You crown the year with your goodness, and your paths drip with abundance. The grasslands of the wilderness become a lush pasture, and the hillsides blossom with joy." How powerful is that? You read the rest of that verse, you'll see all the other things that God does in there. But the point that jumped out for me is he crowns this here year with goodness. And he says, if we stay on the paths of God, we're going to have abundance. In other words, all of our needs are going to be met so we can be a blessing to someone else. But look what else it says over there. He changes the grasslands of the wilderness become a lush pasture. That's wild because we see something out there. The wilderness is isolation. The wilderness is what many of us had been in. It seems like a dry time or a desert season inside of our life. And yet the scripture says they're going to be lush pasture lands. And then we see in Matthew 4, then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted there by the devil. So the wilderness is a place of temptation. It's a place where the enemy comes and assaults our mind. And like a machine gun hits one after the next negatives. You're not going to mount. You're not going to measure up. You're not going to finish well. You're not going to accomplish this. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not a good wife. You're not a good husband. And it'll just penetrate into your mind with all those thoughts. But it says afterwards, and this is what I want you to get, and this is for the new year. But afterwards, angels came and ministered to him, and he went out in the power of the Spirit. On the other side of the wilderness is the move of God and the power of God's grace and Spirit. There's so many scriptures that I want to read. Hebrews says, "Be careful then, dear brothers and sisters. Make sure that your own hearts are not evil and unbelieving, turning you away from the living God. You must warn each other every day while it is still today." And listen to this here. "So that none of you will be deceived by sin and hardened against God. For if we are faithful to the end, trusting God just as firmly as when we first believed, we will share in all that belongs to Christ." Remember what it says. Today, when you hear his voice, don't harden your hearts as Israel did when they rebelled. And that was in the wilderness. So in my closing verse today, I want to just give you this here. On the other side of a dry season, on the other side of a wilderness experience, on the other side of feeling all alone, feeling abandoned, feeling isolated, there is a breakthrough that God has for you. If you will, as the writer says, hold fast under, be careful not to lose that in any way. And so the last thing that I want to share is Elijah was provided for in the wilderness. Isn't it amazing where it says in 1 Kings 17:2, "Then the Lord said to Elijah, go to the east and hide by Kerith Brook, near where it enters into the Jordan River. Drink from the brook and eat what the ravens bring you, for I've commanded them to bring you food." So Elijah did as the Lord told him. He camped beside Kerith Brook, east of the Jordan. The ravens brought him bread and meat each morning and evening, and he drank from the brook. Where's the brook? It was out there in the wilderness. There's nothing else around there. It was in isolation. And God sent the ravens to provide for his every need. I want you to know that it don't matter where you're at. It don't matter what you're going through. It don't matter where you've been. God's telling us this year that our paths, the pathways, he crowns this year with goodness, and your paths are going to drip with abundance. And the grasslands of the wilderness become lush pastures. My friend, you are going to be that lush pasture this year. That is going to happen to you. You're going to be that green. You're going to be that fertile. You're going to be that fruitful pastures this year as you stay on the paths of God. And remember, the paths of God is with gratitude. The paths of God is with thanksgiving. The paths of God, God says, "I will show you the path of life." Psalm 16:11. In his presence is fullness of joy. That's where you want to be. That's where you want to hang out. That's where you want to park. That's where you want to stay. Because when you're there, then you're going to be positioned to be in the right place at the right time with the right people so that his kingdom purpose can be done in your life. Till the next time we get together, love y'all, Rick, Shim, and Terrell.